Hey folks, back when Tears of the Kingdom was first revealed in 2019, back when all we knew of was the underground Ganondorf green energy and that a sequel was in development, never mind the sky, this figure, the result of the arm going after Link, the new state of Hyrule, and everything we've seen recently. Before that, back in the beginnings of this game, I made a video going over some things that I thought shouldn't return in the sequel. Stuff from the first game, Breath of the Wild, that I didn't rate personally and wouldn't want to see return. A lot has changed since then. We've since had 2 more trailers showing us an expansive sky, enticing teaser footage, and the big one, a name plus release date, Tears of the Kingdom as it's known as now, is due to release on the 12th of May 2023, around 7 months from when this video will be released. With that in mind, I want to revisit that previous video idea from a couple years back, as all of you seem to love it, so much so that it's currently my most viewed video on the channel. Well, aren't you all lovely? Mwah. So let's revisit that and go over some more things that in my opinion shouldn't return in the sequel, as well as offer some solutions and or replacements for each. Let's discuss. But first, be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink and send them in to get featured right here, and also be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel out. And let's get into this one. First up, weapons breaking. As easy. The weapons, shields and bow system in Breath of the Wild was debatably good. In my opinion, it was a great idea, but executed poorly. It was just too infuriating across the entire game. At first, I honestly didn't mind my equipment breaking as I was still finding new stuff all the time and it was fine. But over the course of the full game, the constant breaking became annoying. Not to mention seeing the little antagonising message pop up every damn time I drew my blades or wielded my shields or, I don't know, held my bows. This absolutely cannot return in my opinion, at least not as it was in Breath of the Wild. So I've come up with some solutions to improve the system as ultimately it is a great idea, it just needs better execution. To begin with, there needs to be a repairing feature. The damage/condition of the item should be displayed with a little bar to help us out with this too. So say a standard sword gets towards the end of its damage bar, we can then start thinking about repairing it, and this could be done in 2 ways. Either by having the exact same item and essentially combining them together to bump the bar back up, or by using raw materials found within the game to fix it up a bit. For a standard sword you'd need, say, some iron and wood, for example. Repairs could be made on the spot wherever Link goes to avoid complicating things too much. However, the idea of having blacksmiths has crossed my mind before, and at first thought, I thought that they should be the only way to repair a blade, but honestly, I feel like that would become tedious and only half solve the issue. So instead, if there were to be blacksmiths as well as this repairing feature, they could be used to craft new items from scratch, as well as teach Link more efficient ways to repair his items, using less materials or being able to use a wider variety, but still getting the same fixed up result. But repairing in general could be done on the go, or maybe at stations across the world. Regardless of the specifics here, generally, I feel items breaking shouldn't return as it was in Breath of the Wild. It shouldn't be removed though, rather just include repairs and or crafting to help it flow a lot better. Plus, that way there would be much less devastation when your favourite item is near breaking point. The tears are no longer yours, they're the kingdom's. God, that was awful. You could just fix your items up. Next, the emptiness. I will clarify now before getting into this point that Breath of the Wild being empty, so to say, isn't a bad thing for it. Emptiness and quietness fits the post-apocalyptic setting. However, the sequel in my opinion should be more lively and include a lot more interactions and stuff going on as we play. Despite the lack of people and stuff going on in the overworld of Breath of the Wild fitting the game, it did sometimes get a bit boring, and honestly I'm not sure if I'm prepared to go through another adventure like that. The Skylands do look a bit bare in terms of life, same with the Underground and Hyrule, but we've only really been teased on the game so far, so I'm not concerned yet. Trailers often hide a lot and only tease the big things such as the sky itself, Ganondorf, and the arm. That, and if there is, say, a group of sky people up here, that could be being left for a surprise. Anyway, I don't want the lack of life to return. I hope this game will be more full of people or living beings that we can talk to. The main way I could see this happening is by having a group of sky dwellers up here. Perhaps a new or returning group. Ideally with this mysterious figure as their leader. An underground group of people is also a possibility, but we don't know the extent of the underground as well as the Skylands currently. There are other ways to include more living beings, such as exploring beyond the bounds of the first game, but that's on the less likely side in my opinion. My main hope here is that Nintendo are hiding living beings for later trailers, and or the release of the game. Let's hope the sequel has more interactions and more life. Thirdly, a non-present story. This is something that many fans weren't a fan of in Breath of the Wild. The most interesting parts of the overall story had already happened and were just told to us in flashbacks. Of course there is a present story, but it's a lot more bare in comparison if you ask me. All the juicy, interesting stuff happened 100 years ago. We play through the leftovers of that story. Now don't get me wrong, who doesn't love leftovers? But the stage before leftovers is the main course, the main game. I just want a present story in Tears of the Kingdom. Obviously some history should and probably will be told, but I hope that that isn't the main story of the game, like I feel it was in the first. I want the main story to be something that we're actively playing through and creating ourselves, you know? I don't think that this is a big ask to be honest, as pretty much most Zelda games have a present main story. So yeah, that's all I have to really say on this. Fourth and almost final, a recap of previous points I've made across several videos. When the first version of this video was made, my view on this game was slightly different, and that was a good 2 years ago now, so I'm sure many of you are new to the channel as well. To smush those points all into one little recap before getting into the final thing, you know, so I don't have comments complaining about how I missed obvious stuff, when in reality I've just already talked about them, here we go. I do not think that Korok seeds should return. Koroks themselves are cute and wonderful, but 900 seeds all over again would be taking the piss. A new, less tedious collectible would be neat though. Another thing that I feel shouldn't return is Sheikah Tech, which by the looks of it will be gone. But I just want to make my opinion known that I found the tech cool, but hope it isn't as present in the sequel, as I felt it was a bit everywhere in the first game. One more thing that I've previously said, themed dungeon bosses. The blights were cool in their own way, as were the divine beasts, but resulted in them all feeling like one big boss fight, separated into 4 parts. They all looked the same and flowed the same. Let's return to individual unique boss battles in the sequel, please. Oh, and not really another point, but more a fix on a previous point, I think I've said that I didn't like all the filler quests, but retrospectively, with more time to think, I actually do like filler quests, and quick, easy ones. I just think that there could maybe be more large-scale quests in the sequel, on the same size of Terrytown for example. I think my issue with filler quests in Breath of the Wild was that the ratio of filler to more fleshed out ones was just way off. I mean, naturally, there will be more filler and smaller quests, that's fine. I just felt there wasn't enough big quests to even it out. Does that make sense? It makes sense. Fifth and finally, Revali. Don't bring the salty little chicken wing back. Let's have you, Revali fans. I'll see you in the comments. Those are some things that I feel shouldn't return in Tears of the Kingdom, the sequel to Breath of the Wild. This isn't meant to come off as being an overly entitled fan or anything negative, just my personal opinions and whatnot. I hope you enjoyed listening, and I encourage you to let me know what you'd have not return, or return but in a different way. The comment section is yours. Take it away. And on your way there, be sure to drop a wee like down below if you enjoyed, and also consider subscribing for more fabulous Zelda content. Both would make my day. It really would. Follow my socials linked below to keep up to date, and as always, a huge, massive, amazing shout out goes to all of my channel supporters, with a very special shout out to newest member, Elliot Wizard. Thanks a ton for joining. Your support really helps me to make these videos week in, week out, all month long, 365 days a year. I said that very quick. If you'd like to join them and get yourself a shout upon joining, and your name at the end of every video, then consider supporting via the links below. I do have captions if you need them. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.